All right, we've got head coach Pat Noonan following tonight's 2-1 victory. If you're on the Zoom, please use the raise hand function. We'll get to you after we get to in-person questions. Coach, if you want to start with your thoughts on tonight's win.
I'm happy for the players. I'm happy for the fans that we got to experience a much-needed win tonight on this field. So that's as simply as I could put it. It was needed, and the guys are in a good way because they put in a lot of work. And while there was things that we could have done better, I think the area that we struggled with for the last stretch of home games, as far as finishing off plays, we scored 2 goals, and I think there was more out there. So I'm happy. I'm happy about the guys sticking with what we were doing, how we were creating, and making a couple plays tonight.
We'll start here with Carter.
Pat, Evander gets the, at the very end gets the winner there. Could you take us through what you saw in that play and maybe what you liked about how it came together to get you guys the win?
I'll have to go back and look at all the details of it, but the switch of play to get Ender a little bit of isolation, it's something we worked a lot on, trying to utilize our wingbacks to attack 1v1. He does a good job to move inside and locate Evander there, and Evander being in a good spot in an aggressive position to move on to that pass. But all the details leading up to it, I'd have to go back and look, but I think it was nice in that moment to see us have some patience despite how much time was left to find the moment, where I think in a couple games previously it's putting a ball up into the air and having too much urgency. We moved the ball in an efficient way, we got into the box, and we found a goal.
It was a close game throughout, and you mentioned it in your opening statement, close chances all throughout the night, could have been more goals. Do you feel like some of the things you worked on this past 2 weeks that you mentioned heading into the game really developed and actualized in a positive way?
We've, like I said, we worked on a lot of repetition and ideas to attack the goal, and we've done plenty of it previously when we were finding goals, but we just put a bigger emphasis on it and tried to have these guys in training experience score more goals, because sometimes it's just about the structure of how you remind them that they're not far off, and the scoring goals, which is hard to do if you're feeling that in training more. The hope is that it translates to the game. We could have worked on a lot of things defensively against the ball in this stretch, where maybe now you lose some of that emphasis on attacking. We wanted that to be the focus, and I think there was enough from the performance tonight that showed that they took some of those training ideas and attacked in an aggressive way. So,
We'll go to Laurel.
You talked about how it was much needed, just considering just how badly you felt like you guys needed that win. Is that one of the more significant game winners that you've seen?
Based on form, based on results, and how late in the game, we find the goal, and the energy in that moment is something that this building hasn't experienced enough of recently. So hopefully we can take a little bit of momentum from it and confidence from it and continue moving forward. But, the timing of it and the guys sticking with it to find that is important to see.
It was a little bit of a roller coaster there. With Brener got the opening goal, obviously, and then Matt comes off injured, Brian, and then give up the goal. What did you see kind of just in how they handled those moments?
Well, Lucas went down, and he was going to be off for 2 minutes, and we had an idea of a change that now is on pause because Lucas felt he could keep going, and we didn't want to make a change with him in that moment. So we were looking to get Sammy on, and what it did is it just had us sit for a moment, and then, like you said, from that, Matt and Brian kind of changed how we made our adjustments, and credit to the guys that came in. I thought Alvis was impactful. Ender was certainly impactful in the late moments there. They had a really good impact. Teenage did a good job too. I know Kevin was already on the field, so yeah, those guys, Sammy, everybody did a good job.
We'll go to Jeff here.
Yeah. Coach, you had seen the last goal from Brener before he had gone to Europe, and now you see the first one he scored since returning. Can you maybe talk a little bit about what you've seen in terms of the change in his play, maybe any sort of maturity you've seen in his play?
More on the defensive side of the ball, more on the commitment to help us get pressure to the ball. I think his fitness coming in was in a pretty good place, but we know the talent that he is and what he can provide with attacking creativity and being able to put, the opponent under pressure in certain ways and allow us to run to goal off of his creativity and advancing with the ball. And so he was in good spots, had a good moment in the first half, had a good idea with his cross to Kevin that just eludes Kevin. But he was in good spots to make plays, and he made the play he makes is a very difficult play. The pass from Evander is the right idea, and for him to control that in stride and finish it is very difficult. So that's the level that you see from his final product. And but I think he's working till the end for the right reasons, and that's to help our team. And what I'd said is this can't just be the honeymoon stage where it's a couple weeks here and it's nice to be back, and this has to be the norm. And if it is, he's going to help us.
Can you also talk a little bit about some of the other new players, Jabari and GD getting significant minutes in this game?
Yeah, with Ayub, it was just the stretch of this international break. Him and Brener and Evander worked a lot together, and I liked the preparation and what they were doing, and that was the reason to start him. Kevin could have started the game. We weren't sure, with the travel, what was he going to look like, because it was a lot for him coming back. And we knew he was going to have, 30 to 45 minutes based on Ayub's fitness. And so that was the decision there. But I thought Ayub got into good spots, his hold-up play, as all of our, I would say front three, our back-to-goal play needs to improve, because there's so many moments when we bypass pressure and we get these guys in open space, but with their back to goal, we're missing out on too many of those moments. And that's why I think he could have done a little bit better tonight. But, part of that might be nerves. It might be just, new team, new environment, and trying to get familiar and comfortable with it. But he's going to help us. He's relentless with his running. And when he gets fit, I think, against the ball, does a good job of applying pressure with the ball. You got a physical presence, but he can also run, and he can advance with the ball, and he can connect passes, and that's where I think you'll see improvement. But Sammy was the other one. We were trying to get him in earlier. I think his attacking movements in and off the ball behind pressure, he's got a good feel for that. You can see that early on. You could see it when we were looking at him. Playing under pressure, good level of composure, but also how he is able to move into space to be able to, build on our attacks, our moments where our back line's trying to advance through their initial pressure, and now he's the next piece of that to advance us up the field. I think he has a good feel for how to move off the ball, and defensively, that's his first impactful minutes of what is it going to look like in a game, a real game where there's really creative attacking pieces on the other side, and how he closes the ball, how he reads the game. I thought he did a good job, and we put him in a difficult position to defend their left back, but I just think he has the legs to do it. So good minutes from him as well.
We'll go to Alejandro here.
Coach, congratulations on securing a place in the playoff another year, but I was going to ask you have any update on Matt and Brian injuries, and what are your thoughts on Evan Laurel performance today?
Matt felt something when he played the long ball. It's too early. He's back there getting looked at. So, we'll have to see tomorrow. Or Monday we'll probably get, more information. If we need to get an image, we will, but that's TBD. Who was the other one you asked about?
Brian.
Brian was cramps, so he's no issues there. Just was cramping in the end there, and then Evan did a good job. Made a couple. I mean, the save he makes in the first half is excellent. Makes the save on the shot from distance there towards the end, with a poor clearance. Distribution, I thought, for the most part, aside from a couple moments in the first half, he looked composed there. So, good performance from Evan.
We'll go back here to Carter.
Pat, so often this season, when you guys are either up a goal or it's draw or it's late in the games, it's felt like you guys have had struggles dominating play or getting into the offensive third. Tonight, that felt like the exact opposite. Like, even after Nashville scored, you guys were on the front foot. What do you think was different tonight versus maybe some of those other nights where you guys were able to continue to have your foot on the gas late in the game?
We've talked about more patience. We have to be, we have to understand that chances are hard to come by. Nashville's a good team. They're strong defensively. We've seen that with recent opponents or previous opponents, where you can't rush the game, and if you do, you find yourself getting frustrated. You find yourself having to defend in transition too much. And I think we were more patient tonight. I think in the first half we rushed a lot of plays, and in the second half it just looked like the ideas were there, and there was a better understanding of how to get into the box. And I still think we're taking too many shots from distance when we can get into the box and get closer to goal. So it's still something we'll talk about. But when we're patient in the right stretches, in the right moments, we can still break teams down, and we can still find our chances. And that's where I think we need to continue to put our focus to make sure that we don't lose patience because the chances aren't happening over and over and over. This is where we're at in the season. Teams are all fighting for something, and you're going to see a lot of close games, and you're going to see a lot of teams that defend like Nashville, blocking shots, tough to break down. So, and having said that, I still think we created a lot of chances, so I'm pleased about that.
It was just mentioned a little bit, but you guys clinched the playoff spot tonight. Fourth year, all 4 years you've been here, you've done so. What does it mean for the organization, for this team? I know it's only one of many goals for you guys, but to continuously be a playoff team and continue to reach this part of your goals.
Yeah, I'm pleased about that. It's not easy to do. I think you see that historically, having a team make the playoffs year after year. It's challenging for different reasons, and I'm happy about the consistency, but it's also the expectations. This is where we want to be. This is where we expect to be, and it's nice to be knowing we're in the playoffs again and clinch that spot. And now it's a matter of how high of a seed are we going to get.
There are several other achievements you guys can still reach. I mean, just even as simple as home field advantage, the East. Does a win like tonight help maybe motivate or continue to show or push you guys forward to those next steps in those?
We shouldn't need any motivation at this point. Everybody understands what we're trying to accomplish, and if you need motivation to go play and perform, that's concerning. So I don't think these guys need any more motivation. Hopefully, it's just a little bit more confidence after a good result.
We'll go last one here.
Coach, congratulations. Two questions. ¿Qué se siente ganar con la última jugada del último minuto? La siguiente es ¿por qué después de meter el primer gol el equipo como que no se convence de que puede seguir ganando? Es mi observación.
First question is, what are the emotions with a last-minute winner like that? And the second question is, describe the emotions and maybe the chaos after conceding that first goal.
Yeah. It's nice to experience different types of emotions in a positive way. We haven't had elation like that in quite some time, and you hope that this experience of how we got to that point can be a good lesson for the group of the patience of continuing to play in a certain way to end games when you're searching for a goal, and understanding how having the right composure and discipline to create chances will still be there. So we get to learn from that. And hopefully we don't have to experience it too much, because that means you're relying on late goals a lot. But we saw we can do it, and like I said, the emotion is nice to experience for all of us.
Thank you.
What was the other one?
After scoring the first goal, just those
after the first goal, in that moment, it was after a lot of the changes, and like I said, that could have been a turning point for the wrong reasons, where we lose our way, and that didn't happen. We continued to play, we continued to create, we had multiple chances, and that's what I like to see out of these guys, to continue believing that they're going to get the next goal and they're going to get the result. That was encouraging.
Pat, thank you very much.
Thank you.